Good morning, this is Patrick McCullough, forecaster here at the National Weather Service office in San Angelo. Look at the upcoming forecast across west central Texas. I'm going to start things off this morning by taking a look at the 6 a.m. temperatures so far this morning. In fact, and we probably will drop another few degrees before we get to sunrise. But as of 6 o'clock this morning, temperatures are in the 30s and 40s area-wide, ranging anywhere at the major cities from 34 at Ozona, 36 at Junction, up to 42 and 43 degrees along the Interstate 20 corridor from Sweetwater and Abilene. But that's only really kind of a part of the story. We look at some of our temperatures at some of our mesonet sites around the area, which tend to be a little bit further away from some of the city locations. And we see that they range anywhere from a warm, again, 42 or 43 degrees at Clyde and Mertzen, all the way down to the mid and lower 30s. In fact, Sterling City sitting there at 30 degrees. Again, this kind of points out how temperatures can vary quite a bit over just a few miles, especially on these cold, clear mornings with very light winds where topography can play a big role. And the Sterling City location happens to sit in a low spot that happens to be the lowest temperature in the area, sitting at 30 degrees. With all that in mind, we do have a frost advisory remaining in effect for the next few hours across much of the Concho Valley and the northern Edwards Plateau, again, where temperatures are bottoming out in the low to mid-30s pretty much area-wide. Heading up toward a much warmer day in store, though, as temperatures climb into the mid-60s to lower 70s across the area. Not nearly as much wind today as we saw yesterday, kind of a light southwest wind at 8 to 15 miles an hour. Another cold night tonight. Again, the major city locations probably in the mid-30s, mid and upper 30s to around 40 degrees. But again, though, some of those locations and the farms and ranches, some of the river valley bottoms, the lake shores, away from the cities, maybe a few degrees colder, so some patchy frost again possible across some of those locations tonight. Now, they're kind of the big story in the longer range forecast is that some of the coldest temperatures we've seen so far this season look like they will be coming into the area on Saturday, which means that if winds can become light, skies can clear off, and we reach one of those really cold Sunday mornings, we could be looking at a much wider area with a light frost, or maybe even a light frost, maybe even a light freeze across more of the area. Again, some of those city locations dropping to very near freezing, 33 to 35 degrees across the cities. And again, that would mean to be a few degrees colder away from the cities and some of those low-lying areas. So something we will be keeping an eye on for our possible first kind of widespread light frost or light freeze or heavy frost across much of west central Texas. Thank you, and we'll continue to keep you updated.